morning, welcome back in the kitchen. As I mentioned in my video about dehydrating backpacking meals for Ravi, I was also planning on making a video about dehydrating backpacking meals for myself. And today this video is up. And today I'm going to make two different lunch recipes. So that's what I'm going to start with. This is new to me, trying my own backpacking meal. So therefore I am working with a recipe. And for one recipe I'm working with this cookbook, the one that you saw in my Christmas gear video. And I also found a recipe on the internet. And I have one recipe that's based on couscous and one recipe that's based on pasta, in this case macaroni. And I'm adding a lot of vegetables to it, paprika, courgette, cherry tomatoes. And for protein I am adding chickpeas and black beans. And I also will be adding some corn. So that's kind of different vegetables that I'm going to use. Of course, you can use any kind of vegetables you like. For the couscous, I have used giant couscous. And for the pasta, just plain macaroni. So what you need for both recipes is 1 cup of couscous that has to be cooked and 1 cup of macaroni that has to be cooked. So I've already done that work, because obviously you all know how it looks like when boiling pasta or couscous, so I did not include it in this video, otherwise it will be just as long as the last one, and I would like to try to keep this one a little bit shorter. So what I'm going to do, I am going to start with the macaroni recipe. So I'm going to chop all the veggies for that one and then put that in a dehydrator. According to the recipe, both recipes, they need 6 to 10 hours in the dehydrator, so I'm going to start with 6 hours again. But first, let's prepare the macaroni salad. So everything for the pasta salad has been prepared, so that's going into the dehydrator. So the macaroni is in the dehydrator and I'm now going to start with the recipe for the couscous. So it turns out from the recipe in the book that this recipe, the couscous recipe, dries a little bit different than I'm used to. Because I'm used to, like you saw, drying all the ingredients separate. But this recipe said you have to mix it all. So I have to mix all the ingredients together. And I even have to make a dressing, which includes, I don't know if you can see it. Oh, there we go. And that is a dressing that includes olive oil. It includes rice vinegar. It includes chili powder, cumin, and it also includes black pepper. So this is new to me. Like I said, drying meals for myself is new in general, but drying other things not. But the way like this works, that's new to me. So I'm really curious how that's going to turn out. So I'm going to add the dressing and then mix it all together. And although the recipe in the book was for 4 portions, I halved it because it's obviously a tryout for me to make these kind of lunches for myself. But if I look at this bowl, this should be 2 portions. I better be hungry on the trail. So this is all mixed together now, and now I'm going to divide it on the trays as well. Here we are, I'll spread it out on the trays. Now in the dehydrator, and fingers crossed that this is going to work out. For those recipes I chose to put the temperature of the dehydrator on 60 degrees because obviously, as you can see, there's no meat in this one, and in Ravi's meal there was, so therefore I was drying that on a higher temperature. For now, let's give me one more tip. I'm now combining those 2 recipes in the dehydrator because the flavors are quite similar. But be aware that if you are drying, for example, a pretty spicy dish like a curry, and you're putting it together in a dehydrator with a really plain dish or only vegetables or fruit, be aware that it is possible that everything will taste to curry after that. So you might not think that's a problem, but I think a curry taste apple might not be that nice to have as a snack on the trail. So be aware of that, and be aware of the flavors that you're putting together in your dehydrator. For now, I'm going to clean up this huge mess here because although it was way less work than Ravi's menu was, because that has frozen vegetables, I didn't have to cut it all up and I didn't have that much mess as I have right now. So I'm going to clean this up and I will get back to you later today. So here we have the results of the pasta salad after about 8 hours of drying. And here you have the result of the couscous salad after 8 hours of drying. And I'm not sure if you can see it, but it still looks a bit shiny. And that means it's not 100% dry yet. And like I mentioned this morning, I was a bit curious if this was going to work out, because I have to add the dressing based on the oil in advance. And as far as my knowledge goes, you can't dry oil. So I don't know if this is going to turn out, but it's almost 10 o'clock in the evening now. So I'm going to turn off the dehydrator, let this stay out overnight, and then I will see tomorrow morning what it has done overnight, and then I'm going to decide whether I'm going to put it back in the dehydrator or that I'm going to use it. So I'm not 100% sure about the couscous salad yet, but we will see you again tomorrow, and then we will continue this video. Good night. So it's now the next morning. I gave the couscous overnight to dry. It looks a bit less shiny than it did last night. And I think it might also be these kind of ingredients that they might look a little bit shiny once they have dried. I don't know, my hands are not getting really fat or anything when I go through the salad, so I'm going to give it a try. We're going to use them up in 2 weeks and then I will see how it will look like. If I follow the recipe in the book, there's not much more that I have to do with this salad. I only have to divide it because, of course, all the spices and everything were already added through the dressing. So I'm going to see how much weight is left after it has been dried. I measured the bowl where it's in right now, and that's 40 grams. So I'm going to see how much the total weight is. And that's 230 grams. So that means that if I take 40 grams down, that I'm at 180. So that means if I would like to take 2 portions out of it, then I will divide it in 2 portions of 90 grams. So that's what I'm going to do now. So this is 1 portion. I have no idea how much it will be for lunch, but we're going to try that out. What I'm going to do again is put it in a Ziploc baggie. Once again, the freezer ones, although this is a cold soaking recipe. And here we are, nice and dry couscous salad. So let's continue with the other portion and then I will get back to you. So 2 portions of lunch. Let's continue to the macaroni salad. So finishing up the macaroni recipe needs a little bit more work because, as I can see here on the recipe, it needs some spicing up. So first I'm going to measure out how much I have. This is a recipe for 2, so I do not have to divide anything. It's just the amount that's on the recipe that I can follow. Put 40 grams bucket on it again. So that's all the ingredients together. 165 grams, so that means 40 grams of, let's divide it. Let's go a little bit down to 155 grams, so then I'm on 159 grams. So a little over 80 grams if I say that correctly. So that's what I'm going to weigh out in just a few seconds. But first I'm going to add the spices. And therefore I'm going to need a teaspoon measurement. Be careful, Ravi. Ravi is here behind me. And I need 3/4 a teaspoon of garlic powder. This is 1/4, so I'm going to add 3 of those. I need 3/4 of a teaspoon of dried oregano or oregano. Also 3 of those. And then I need half a teaspoon of sea salt. And what I also have to add, I have to add a package of true lemon. And that's something I was not able to find here in the Netherlands. So I was looking it up on the internet, and as far as I could see, that's a really American thing. So I checked what's in true lemon, and what I found here in the Netherlands, what's closest by, is this one. So I'm going to add that. Let's see how it turns out. Put that in. And they say that you also have to put in 2 tablespoons of olive oil, but that's something to add on the trail, because if you put that in now, it will not last very long. So that's optional as well. If you're not doing a very long hike, then I would say maybe the olive oil is not necessary to add. But if you're doing a really tough hike and you really need the extra calories, then I would really recommend it. So I'm going to mix this up with all the spices. And then divide it into 2 portions again. And here I also have 2 recipes of the macaroni salad. I'm absolutely not sure whether this amount is going to be good enough for lunches, because making lunches like this is really new to me. I'm used to getting 2 sandwiches with me, and that's it. So we're going to try it out in 2 weeks' time. Like I said in Ravi's video, then we will be having an overnighter, and that's not an extreme long one. So that's fine to try those things out then, because we only will be hiking for a few hours. So if it will not do in the right amount, then I'm be aware of that. And then I can increase the portions when I'm going to try more portions after it. So this is first a try out. What I'm going to do, because obviously both recipes, the couscous salad and the macaroni salad, are cold soaking recipes. So on YouTube I often see those talenti jars, but we do not have them in the Netherlands. So what I did is I took a peanut butter jar. Of course I put stickers on it. Sorry, you know that I do that. And yeah, that will be my cold soaking jar. I have to add 200 milliliters of water to the macaroni salad, and I think, if I'm saying correctly, I have to add the same amount to the couscous salad. I'm going to check it in the book. Let's see. Couscous salad. It does not say it, so that has to be a matter of trial and error. Just try out when I'm going to use it. I think I will just roughly cover it, and then let's see how that turns out. So this was my second video in my mini series about dehydrating your own backpacking meals. I hope it was an interesting video, and although this was also a sort of a tryout for me, I'm not new to dehydrating, but I'm new to dehydrating my own meals. So it's absolutely a tryout. I don't know if it's going to work out. The pasta salad looks absolutely great. The couscous salad, we will find out in 2 weeks' time how that came. And yeah, I learned a lot of new things as well. If it turns out with the couscous salad, then I now learned that you can dry oil as well. As far as I know, you can't, but that we're going to try out in 2 weeks' time. If you are interested in more videos about this subject, so that I'm putting several videos in between every now and then let me know in the comment box below, because in a short time I will also start drying dinner for myself. So if you are interested in that process, please let me know, and then I will make a video about that as well. For now, thank you for taking your time to being part of this video and to watch it to the end. And as always, enjoy the outdoors, and we will catch you on the next trail. Goodbye!